And it's time for another cup of tea. It's been a couple of weeks, Gonzo. How have you been?
I've not been bad. Went to the game, of course, as you did. Yeah, working hard, mate. What about yourself? All right?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. There's only 2 months and 21 days until Christmas. Are you excited?
No, 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 no. No, there's not enough time. That's not enough time before Christmas to earn money to pay for all the kids' presents. So, no, I'm not excited.
Well, the reason I bring it up, because it might be 2 months and 21 days until Christmas Day, but it might be 2 months and 20 days until we play Newcastle of David Gold. Well, he's giving it the thumbs up. What do you make of that? Football on Christmas Eve.
Sorry. Wait, what?
David Gold, Christmas Eve, Sky are wanting to have 2 games on. And one of them is supposed to be Liverpool-Newcastle. That's quite well known because Liverpool fans have been kicking up a fuss saying, hang on, we ain't going to Arsenal on Christmas Eve. And the other game is supposed to be, if you want to believe the rumours, West Ham against Newcastle, and David Gold has sort of said that he's going to win against it.
Well, we're meant to be playing Newcastle on a Saturday. Tim's meant to be coming from that because they're probably going to miss it. The Chelsea game's meant to be on a Saturday. They'll probably move that, which means our next proper sort of Saturday game, I think, at home, is Newcastle, isn't it? Is that right?
Unless they move it to Christmas Eve, which is a Sunday, I think they're going to move it.
Well, they can't.
Why?
Well, because it's Christmas. It's Christmas. We've got to get up with the kids the next day. You can't go. You can't do that. You can't do that. There's no time. There's no. You can't. It's no.
Well, we'll wait and see. But that's supposedly their plan. They're supposed to move it. I mean, I can see it happening because a lot of people have said, "Well, Westfields ain't going to let us play at home on Christmas Eve, but will they let us play at home on the 23rd of December?" In my opinion, that's even busier than Christmas Eve for shopping. 23rd of December, adding the last Saturday before Christmas, it's probably going to be the busiest day of the year. So I can't. I'm worried. I've got a feeling this is going to be a Christmas Eve game, to be honest with you. I think it's mental. I think it's just taking.
Well, the club needs to put their foot down on that. There's no doubt about that. The club needs to put their foot down. It can't be Christmas Eve. Christmas Day's a day for the family. There's a reason they don't play football on Christmas Day. It's because it's a day with your family. People can't be getting home. Can you imagine the trains? People can't be getting home flaming midnight and all that sort of thing on Christmas Eve. Jumping on people with families and all the rest of it. Particularly not for a family club. No, I can't. That's ridiculous.
If you get home at midnight.
Well, I won't. I'd get home at 1:30. I just wouldn't be able to go.
If you get home at 1:30, your kids will think it's Santa coming in the
door. Yeah, well, lots of people watch this show. Of course, Father Christmas usually would probably come after 1:30. But yes, we wouldn't want the children to think that I was Father Christmas.
Yeah, I won't be going either. If it's Christmas Eve, I ain't going. But let's discuss if he's not so much Father Christmas, but he gave us Swansea gave him a present on Saturday, Mr. Bilic. He's still here.
Yeah, I'm sort of resigned to the fact he is going to remain here as well. I think. I think Paul did your shout, and I'd forgotten about the 4 games. I forgot about the 4 games. Do you know what I mean? He had to whatever it was. And he did all right in those 4 games, really, in the points total. He got enough to survive. And I think he'll continue getting enough to survive. And I think we'll continue doing enough to survive. We're not going to be entertained whilst we're doing just enough to survive. But I just can't see now Bilic ever going on that sort of 4-game run that is going to get him the sack. So I just think he'll be here for the remainder of the season. So I'm not surprised he's still there. And I feel bad talking about him like this because it's not like Allardyce. I hated Allardyce. I really did. He was on the radio the other day. It was annoying. It's as annoying then as he was for us. But crikey, I mean, it's like watching an Allardyce team, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I think I've seen someone saying since the last we're now in an international break. Since the last international break, we played 5 games, had 4 clean sheets, we've won 3 of them. Only Spurs have beaten us. So on paper, it's good. I mean, a lot of people are probably looking. I mean, an Arsenal fan was asking me what the problem is, saying, "Well, you won the last 2. You won 2 of your last 4 games. You only got beat by Spurs 3-2, which is they've been embarrassing other teams that are around about in the league and stuff. But I was saying, but the problem is the paper doesn't tell a story. You know, a book tells a story, but it's not a book, is it? It's a one sheet of paper, and that a sheet of paper in a book does not tell the whole story. And that's the problem. You know, Saturday, I thought me and you, when we did our review on the boats, I did think we were a bit harsh. You always think that. Then I watched other people's reviews, and actually everyone was the same as us, and as they were disheartened after the win and stuff. It didn't feel like a win. But, I mean, Darren Lewis has come out with that article. Now, we all know Darren Lewis is a mouthpiece for the club, so if he writes something, it's worth taking note. Ken Dyer has good links at the club. He's not really a mouthpiece as such, but he gets good information. Darren Lewis is a bit of a mouthpiece. He said that Bilic is here till the end. The thing is, you said just now, you can't see there being 4 games where he loses. I think there is. I think in December, I think there's a good chance he's going to go 4 games where he picks up less than 3 points in those 4 games. We'll play the big teams then. I've seen someone say, you know, it's okay because at home, all we've had so far, okay, we've had Spurs, we've had Swansea and Huddersfield, we ain't had City or Man U or Chelsea or Liverpool that rock up yet. But I think, would it help you, because me and you've got a different stance on Bilic to an extent, so would it help you, the board come out and said he's going at the end of the season, but he's staying until the end of the season? Would that help sort of, I feel like there's a wave of an air of uncertainty just now. Would it help if that cloud was removed?
Well, it's would it help me? I don't know about helping me. But I certainly hinder him. I think he needs to retain the belief that he can earn another contract. And we're talking about Bilic. You know, for me, it wouldn't help me. And I think it would hinder him because I think the players, again, it was Paul's video, and he said, you know, the players don't want to play for a dead man walking. And if the players have got a whiff that he's going to be gone, then they won't put 100% in. Funny enough, I was speaking about Allardyce on the radio. He was co-presenting a Talk Sports show during the week. And he was talking about the new manager effect. And he said the thing with the new manager effect, as far as he was concerned, was that all it is basically a bunch of players and a squad of 30 players, some of whom might have been favourites with the old manager and some of whom might not have been involved. And what the new manager effect is everybody trying to prove to the new manager that they can be in that first team. So you get a run of 4 or 5 games where actually everybody does put 100% in. And that's what he said the new effect is. Well, if that's true, obviously the reverse is also true. So if you know that someone is leaving, then do you really need to impress them? I think the thing was with Bilic, and my own opinion on it was, I've always wanted Slav to turn it round. I still do want him to turn it round, but I always had a bit of faith that he would be able to turn it round. That's gone for me now. I don't think he is going to suddenly morph into a tactical genius. I don't think he suddenly is going to be all those things that we want him to be. I've seen too many instances of him mucking up substitutions, obviously not at the weekend, before anyone does that. I've seen too many instances of him picking the wrong team. I've seen too many instances of wrong tactics, and I've in particular seen too many instances of square pegs in round holes. I don't think that's suddenly going to change. I don't think he's going to suddenly find a formation. I don't think he's going to be playing round pegs in round holes. No matter whether he's given a stay of execution guaranteed the next 6 months or given the next 6 years, I just don't think it's going to happen.
No, I think a lot of fans are too far gone. I don't think he can win anymore with a lot of fans because got beat by Spurs when he took Carroll on. Everyone was saying, "Oh, you should have brought an Ayew." Then on Saturday, everyone was saying, "What's Ayew doing on the pitch?" Well, you were just calling for him the last game. Now all of a sudden you don't want to see him on the pitch. Everyone was saying we want to see Carroll and Hernandez up front, so he does it on Saturday, and everyone's going, "We can't play 4-4-2. We don't have the players to play for." Well, that's what you were wanting. I think there's a lot of people I think he's just too far gone. You can't win. Now, it's not necessarily the same person saying both those things. It might just be half the fans are saying we need them up front, and the other half are saying we can't play 4-4-2. And it's got to the point now, it's sort of whatever he does, people are going to pick holes at. It doesn't matter what he does. He's not going to please everyone. You know, if against Burnley played Creswell with Masuaku ahead of him, most people will be happy, but there will be the other ones that go, "Where's Arnautovic? Or where's our record signing? Why is he on the pitch? You need him on the pitch." It's just a bit strange. But let's part the Bilic thing for now. Let's talk about the people that have been linked with his job. Is there anyone you want to pick up first? Not Mancini. put him to one side. He's got a contract. And Rafa. We've done Mancini and Rafa. There's 4 names I've written down. We've not really discussed much. So is there any of the one that you...
Okay. Well, you clearly will have Ancelotti on your list because he's been in the news. Yeah, no chance. No chance. It's just not going to happen. If the owners don't want to pay Slav's termination fee, crikey, no, that sounds... No, not termination. That sounds very final, isn't it? You know what I mean? His payoff. Then they're not going to pay... They're not going to pay the wages that Ancelotti would want. Ancelotti's a top European manager. He's going to want 8 million a year, isn't he, or something like that? He's also going to want the war chest as well. Oh, crikey, we were complaining when Allardyce was on 3.5 million a year and was the 13th highest. Well, I'll tell you what, if you think the 13th highest manager in Europe gets paid a lot of money, wait until you see what one of the top 5 guys gets, and he's one of those.
To play devil's advocate, could you not argue that they've got the money there?
Well, if they do, then I can't imagine there'll be a lot of money for players. If they're going to pay him 5, 6, 7 million pounds, I think Mourinho's on 8 million. So these top managers, that's what they're on. And each year, he's going to want a fair contract. Then that takes it out of the transfer pot. I just can't see it.
What's an extra 3 million a year, though? What's Bilic on? 2.5 million a year or something. So if you said he wants 5 million, well, let's just say 6. That's an extra 3.5 million. Still that much, 3.5 million a year. You know, that's not even a Fernandez. That's like a...
No, it's not. But if he's...
That's not even a Zaza loan fee.
No, but it's still over 12 million quid. And if what we've got is 40 million put by for players, I just don't think it's going to be enough to tempt him. I think someone like that is going to want something like 6 million a year, and I think he's going to want 100 million in the first window. Blah blah blah. I just can't see it. I just don't think there's any way that our current structure is going to allow for someone like Ancelotti to come in.
Do you know something? I actually agree with you. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. But what I will say on our side is we've got London. That's an attraction. He's mentioned, he spoke before about Premier League. He's even spoke before that he'd happily manage West Ham purely because we're in London, I think. But 2, there's not that many top jobs out there. If you write down the top 10 European jobs, you'll write down maybe 5 from Premier League, a couple from Germany, a couple from Spain, France, Italy. He's already done half of them. But also, he's probably considered, not damaged goods, but he's probably considered a bit of, on the slide, if you like.
Why did he get sacked? Did Bayern Munich win the league last year, the Bundesliga?
Yeah, but he's not doing very well this year.
Is he not? No?
I think there's a lot of disrain among the squad as well. There's a lot of player power, if you like, between Robin and Ribery. I think they're sort of pulling the strings a little bit more than they would like. But so Ancelotti, would he be your number 1 choice? You could pick any manager in the world. Would he be your number 1 choice?
Yeah, I mean, a proven winner, you wouldn't be able to turn him down. It'd be a miracle if you got him at West Ham. Yeah, absolutely. Unless you're going to say somebody else, like Mourinho or Guardiola or somebody. He's one of those top managers. You'd have to say so.
Yeah, he's a next level manager. They talk about the next level. Go get him. Well, there's 3 more. Would you like to speak about the Englishman, the Welshman, or the wild card?
I don't. Who's the Welshman? Coleman?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Funny enough, I was surprised he got sacked from Fulham. I don't think they were... When they got rid of him, I don't think they were going down. He started off really well. Then he went for a rocky patch. And then... yeah, and I think they did what our owners haven't done, actually. They got old squeaky bum then, the Fulham owners, but I don't think they were going to go down that season. They didn't go down that season, actually. Wales, they did well, obviously, in the last championships, but I think we're seeing more now what their level is. I'm not convinced that he would be an improvement, quite frankly.
No, I mean, I do worry that he sort of... People talk about Bilic with Payet. It's a bit like Coleman with Gareth Bale, really, isn't it? He sort of managed to sort of rely on the world class. When the Euro Championships come back, Gareth Bale was essentially through the qualification process, arguably the best player in the world on form, and he was belting out 30-yarders. Now you can't rely on that every game. You can't think it's all right. Gareth will smash in a 25-yard strike here. Playing for your country is a lot different from playing from your club. Playing for your club, you're doing it every day. When Gareth goes away to Wales, he's sort of the player. He's not got Ronaldo beside him. He's not got Modric behind him. Everyone's on him. He gets to do everything he wants, etc. And I do think this would be a risk. I do think it's a risk. I think he deserves a crack, Coleman. I think he deserves a crack at another decent club. Maybe not Premier League club, certainly higher Championship. It would be good to see what he can do and what he's learned, but not for me either. Let's go wild card. Pellegrini. He went from not even being in the market to joint favourite for the job. Now he is managing in China just now, but as we know, the sort of the gravy train over there is slowing down, if you like. Would you fancy him?
No, I don't think so. Actually,
Why not?
I don't know. I didn't. They couldn't really get rid of him quick enough, could they? Really, City. Didn't he have defensive frailties and stuff? Mind you, I guess he'd have us attacking, which is what we want. So he probably, we've got. I don't know. No, he's not so. He doesn't set the pulses racing. To be honest with you,
I don't know. I'd bite your hand off for Pellegrini, in all honesty. I think he's gettable. I think you could get him out of China. The problem is the wages. He's obviously on a lot over there. But like I said, I think he must be bored. You know, he's dealing with below average footballers every day. He must want to get back in the limelight and stuff. If he stays over there too long, he's going to struggle to get a job back in Europe when he wants one. I think this could be his get out. And I think I could be wrong. I think he got sacked from City because he struggled in the Champions League. I think they wanted success. They wanted continental success, and Mancini couldn't deliver it, and Pellegrini couldn't deliver it. And I think that's why they went and got Pep. They thought, well, if anyone can deliver it, he can.
Well, I think just before, I think if you could have combined the two, then you had a good manager. Because I think Mancini was very good defensively, very hot on fitness. But the attacking play perhaps wasn't as good as it might have been. I mean, Pellegrini's fitness wasn't very good, defense wasn't very good, but the attacking play was very good. The guy that was at Marseille, the nutter, the mental one,
Bielsa.
Yes. So someone like that, I'm not saying him, or someone like Pochettino, you know, somebody that plays that sort of pressing game.
Okay, well, what about Andre Villaboa? Would you take a risk on him?
No, he's too much damaged goods. But there's that style of play which they all I think was Espanyol. I think was I think Pochettino was it Espanyol or Numancia, one of the two. But he played a very good pressing game. Bielsa played it. I think Pep Guardiola copied that style. I think there's a number of managers who play this sort of pressing game, and it's good one-touch football. And they have an identity, a real proper coaching philosophy. And that's what I want us to get. It doesn't have to be one of those, but whoever the next manager that does that sort of thing is, because that's what I think we're lacking with Bilic, is that philosophy, that style of play. No, this is how I play. This is the shape I play. You will buy my players to fit my shape, and this is my philosophy and identity. That's what I want. That's who I want to come in.
Well, Pellegrini gets a no from Gonzo, but a great big tick from me. Last one we'll discuss tonight, Sean Dyche. We all know about Sean. Burnley are sitting 6th in the league just now. Is this a sort of he's a perfect fit for Burnley, leave him at Burnley, or is it such a case of he deserves a chance, go get him?
As we've seen with Koeman, sometimes you're just at the right club. And I don't mean Koeman's at the right club now, obviously when he was at Southampton. Sometimes you're talented and you can do it at more than one club. Watford fans might be able to tell us more, but he struggled at Watford, Dyche, I believe, and got the boot from Watford. I seem to remember some people saying he wasn't given a fair crack at a whip, and actually a lot of then the success that was then taken on was put in place by him. But the same is said for Burnley. He took over at Burnley. Apparently, a lot of people say a lot of that success was put into place by Eddie Howe. So you've got to take some other factors into it. But from what we can see, he looks to be a very good manager. And let's not forget, he probably lost his best player in the summer. And that's a hell of a thing, to not just for Burnley to be up in 6th, but to be in 6th, having had your best player poached by a club which are probably bigger. That's quite impressive. I would not be disappointed. I would not. I watched some of that game, actually. I think they beat Everton, didn't they? I watched some of that game, and I did an in-play bet thinking I was so impressed when they were going to win 3-1. They didn't. I lost my money, but there you go.
Would it not concern you that their style of play is considered to be a bit boring and a bit long ball and workman-like? I mean, you just said you want a pressure style. You arguably want to see attacking football. Don't we all after the last season and a half or whatever? Don't you worry that Dyche is sort of
Yes.
A bit more of a solid Bilic, if you like.
Well, that's what I thought. And the period when I was watching them against Everton, I thought, actually, they're really going for this. They're actually playing some attacking football. They were passing it. They seemed to be doing overlaps and getting the wingers and the fullbacks involved. And it looked good. From what I saw, it looked good. But, you know me, I don't sit... Mate, the last thing I'll do on a Sunday, if West... You know, having said that, I watched a bit of that game. I don't know why I would. But normally, I won't sit down on a Sunday and watch West Brom against Newcastle or whatever it may be, or Burnley. Against whoever they might be playing. I just don't. I watch West Ham, and that tends to be it. So I don't see them week in, week out. I think it's a good shout. But as I say, I would like to think that there is a manager out there. That, you know, that we were muted for the guy that was at Borussia Dortmund. Tuchel, is that his name? He took over from Klopp, didn't he? Well, I don't know why he's not there anymore, but someone like him, apparently he had a very good philosophy, a similar type of thing. I think we need to be quite strong in who we appoint, and we need to be very, very thorough. If the club are not going to get rid of Bilic now, and they are going to do so, I think there's beyond doubt that they are going to do so, then they've got a good few months to compile a list and to do all their due diligence and all this stuff that we're talking about, where you're saying to me, oh, hold on, he plays a little bit long ball, and I'm saying to you, da-da-da. They can go through all this. They've got professional people at the club, ex-professional scouts who can go in there, get your list of managers and say he does this, 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 he doesn't do this. And for once, do what Southampton do. Get a club identity. Do what Swansea have done. Get a club identity. Say we're going to play this way, and actually not only are we going to play this way, even if this manager doesn't work out, our next manager is going to play in the same way, and get a club philosophy.
Until they do that, I think they need someone to decide the club philosophy. I don't trust the guy that would decide it right now. I don't trust him doing it. That's a yes for me as well. I think it would be good to see what you can do at West Ham. We certainly would. I'd be surprised if we'd finish below 12th with him as manager. It might not be pretty at times, but this season, I mean, stats-wise, they are considered to be long ball this season so far, but you've got to consider they've played Everton away, Liverpool, Chelsea away, and Spurs away, I think it is. Their 3 away games are big clubs they've played at. So, of course, they're going to be playing long ball football there. They're not going to be knocking about at those grounds, are they? And I like a manager that can do that. I like a manager that can set up to defend and hit teams on the counter-attack with the long ball and use it effectively. I was watching a video earlier about the long ball football system, and so far this season, we've played the most long balls. But our percentage isn't necessarily the highest, but we've also got the 3rd most accurate long balls, or the 4th. The teams higher are City, Tottenham, and Man U or Arsenal, one of the two. But Burnley are really high up for the long balls as well. But anyway, that's enough manager talk. One thing I will say about the manager, the reason I don't think Bilic is getting sacked yet, it's not just because of money. If you sack Bilic, you need to sack the whole backroom staff. They're all Bilic's men. It's a hard job finding a manager. Good luck finding a manager and about 5 coaching staff within a fortnight. You ain't doing it. Even if you somehow went and got one of these managers, if you somehow get Dyche out of Burnley for a few million, you've then got to pay a few million more for his backroom staff and get them out. That's if they want to come. You can't have Dyche walk up with no staff, etc. I do wonder if that's an issue. If we're sort of at Leicester, when they got rid of Ranieri, Shakespeare got promoted. The coaching staff remained the same. They didn't change. So there was a natural successor, a natural progression. Nothing changed. Training the next day was still the same. Due to Bilic, everything changes. The whole coaching staff will go. The only guy that would probably be around the next day is Julian Dix, but at least the bibs will get handed out and the markers will get picked up at the end of the training.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, more for them for allowing that situation to develop. That's a lack of, a lack of foresight.
I think you've got to allow the manager to have his own people, but
I think you do, but not a whole team of them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think there needs to be a foundation in place. So the manager was to bugger off tomorrow, the whole thing doesn't fall down. I do think there's a domino effect. That's just my theory.
It sounds sensible. It does sound sensible.
But anyway, speaking about people leaving and people joining, Royal London Watch's sponsorship with us has expired. See you later. Ta-ra. But we've got a new one. It's Asper's Casino in Stratford. We've got plenty of stuff coming up with them, so do keep your eyes out. There has been mention of a few free alcoholic drinks and food for some of our followers in the future, so keep your eyes peeled. But thank you very much to them for backing us for the next year. Now, Gonzo, 7 games in, international break. which players are impressing you? If I said to you, pick out three players or something that's impressed you so far this season, who would you pick out?
Romelu Lukaku.
Oh, very funny.
Masuaku. Let's say Masuaku has been very good. No surprise, good player. I always thought he was a good player, and I'm not surprised to see him doing well in a different position. I always thought he had a bit more in him than just a left back. Masuaku, Mitch Masuaku. There's not an awful lot of people impressing, quite frankly. I've got to say it's been a pretty poor start to the season. Hernandez has done well when he's poached some goals. You wouldn't say he's dominated games particularly. Sacco has impressed me. I've got to say Sacco would be up there. If we've got to pick one more, James Collins, that's Zabaleta. Well, sorry, I forgot Zabaleta. Yeah, Zabaleta, Sacco, Masuaku. Let's go with them three.
Zabaleta is definitely top of my list. I'd probably pick, to believe this or not, I'm probably also going to pick Winston Reid. I think he's as phenomenal as ever some games. And I'm actually going to pick Font. I think I was happy for him to go in the summer for cheapest chips if someone wanted him. He's actually impressed me recently. I think he's turning out to be a defender we thought we were buying. Him and Reid look like they're starting to click. There's a partnership. I was a bit worried going forward at the back against Swansea, but I thought them two dealt with everything. They didn't have the, it wasn't like Kevin De Bruyne that was trying to thread through balls and had the Aguero on their shoulder, but they can only deal with what they get thrown at them, and I thought they dealt with it with minimum fuss. They look good. Font's, we've now got a ball-playing centre-back in Ozzy Fonte. That's what I like about him the most, the fact that he gets his foot in the ball and he looks for the pass. Winston Reid can be a bit of a hoofer. Ogbonna, we've somehow turned into a hoofer. James Collins has always been someone that's punts it down the pitch, but we've now got someone that can pass the ball. I'll tell you what, we can get Lanzini in centre midfield. That little partnership, as strange as it sounds, Font and Lanzini could be an interesting little thing. If he can nick it to Lanzini quick, that's what we need, a centre-back who's willing to just get out his feet quick enough. That would be my three. What about your three that's, let's call them concern, three players of concern who you're looking at thinking, oh, he's not as doing as well as I thought he would?
Well, we start with Arnautovic. This is a record club signing. A record club signing, the most money West Ham have ever spent on a player.
I think you've been a bit rough there. I don't think
he deserves everything he gets. He was an absolute fool, absolute idiot what he did in that game by getting himself sent off. He took himself out of the picture for 3 games. He's come back, had a little flourish against Bolton, was then crap in whatever team playing blue and white stripes, and he's done nothing, and he needs to do something. I think he's let the manager down, big time. He's let the manager down. Actually, very, very disappointing. I was disappointed at the start. I was a little bit disappointed. I don't know, because you're asking me for 3, and obviously you've already written 3 down, so I'm thinking off the top of my head. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed. Yeah, we are. You know, you can ask the questions. I'm disappointed with Andy Carroll. Actually, a bit disappointed with Andy Carroll, bearing in mind he's been more involved than I thought he would be. So, which is a weird one because you get quite surprised. You don't expect him to be involved. Actually, he is involved. He's not really been as good as we would sort of like him to be. And I've got to say, and I don't really think it's his fault. He's not fit. Something is going on. Antonio has not. Doesn't seem the same Antonio. I think we need to get him fit. I think looking at him and looking at how he's played and how he's sort of stumbled around and sort of hobbled around, I think there's possibly a case with Antonio has not been fit at any point in this season. There might have been a case for him not having played any games and getting him fully fit. Now, I don't know what's happening. Obviously, we've got Gary Lewin there and whatnot. And I only say Antonio's been disappointing because his standards are so high. He's capable of being our best player at any given time. He really is. Yeah,
I agree with the Antonio thing. I mean, it is harsh. Like you said, he's not fully fit, but he's sort of the shadow of himself. We'll have to judge him when he is fully fit. I think a bit harsh on Arnautovic there. My one I'll pick out is, I think you're going to know who it is, Chiati. I just don't see it. I'm sorry, but I still do not see it. Whenever I watch him, I do think, how is this guy a centre mid? He's got everything a centre-back needs. He could be a quality centre-back. Please, will someone shift him into centre-back, because I can't stand him in centre midfield. I can't. He's passing so... The amount of times on Saturday he gave it to Zabaleta's feet when there was 10 yards of space. Instead of putting it 3 yards in front of him to try and shift the play up the pitch, he was going to his feet, and he was just like, oh. Another one I'll pick out. I wasn't going to say Antonio. I was going to say Ogbonna. I think he's been a bit suspect at times again, which is frustrating because he's definitely got the quality. The other player I've got to pick out is Ayew. I think he's getting a hard time of it. I think I said the other day, after Swansea, I knew everybody would be piling in on him, but we've always said, what's his position? We still don't know, but I don't think Bilic knows it. But I think that's why he looks crap sometimes. I do feel sorry for him. I think he's a fantastic player, and if the right manager comes in and gets Ayew working, he could be a great asset. But I don't know, those players. I suppose. I mean, I disagree a little bit with you, Carl. I think he's been playing okay. I just think the tactics, if you like, I think the teammates around him. I don't think Hernandez knows how to play with Andy Carroll, for example. The amount of times on Saturday Carroll went up for it and Hernandez is 5 yards off watching him. I'm thinking, shift, get him behind him so Carroll can flick it on, make that run. I'd rather see Sacco and Carroll than Hernandez and Carroll, if Carroll has to play. But right, before we start talking about our next thing, this weekend, as you know, we've got a charity bet with Betway, where we give Betway our thing for the match coming up. Betway give us a price. We can bet on it if we wish. And Betway stick £50 on it, and if it wins, it goes to charity. No game this weekend. So I said, I want odds on Ham of the Year, please. So first of all, they said, no, we don't really do them because we work with the players. So we price someone up at a big price and they see it. They might get a bit pissed off a Betway thinking I'm trying to say I'm a bit crap. So I said, oh, it's okay, just blame me. But they priced all the players up. But I was only wanting a price for one player. They did them all. One player, Pablo Zabaleta, 7-1. I'm having it. I've got a bet on it myself. And Betway have stuck 50 quid on Zabaleta to be Hammer of the Year. So if it wins, a charity will get 350 quid at the end of the year. Gonzo, who's your Hammer of the Year choice so far? Have you had the back one?
Yeah, you couldn't go further than that at the moment. It came to me quite late when you were asking for my three, but there's a man with, he's played well. He plays very well on the pitch. But he's got something else to him. And I'll tell you what it is, that's character. He's got character. And I don't just mean he's nice in interview. I mean, he displays his character as there for all to see on the pitch. He's got drive, he's got determination. You can see why he's had a successful career.
Yeah, I think he's just class. I think he's got one hand on Hammer of the Year already. Everything he does is every tackle, 100% commitment. There's no sort of will I, won't I, bang, and he goes... the ball goes out for a throw and he's sprinting over to get, even if it's all their players sprinting over and getting it and handing it to them saying, here's the ball. Then when we scored, you could see his celebration on his own. He celebrated with Sacco and he did his own little thing. And the fans vote for Hammer of the Year. If he keeps showing that passion, he's won it easily. Lanzini's 11-1, an outsider there. If he can stay fit and do what he did at the end of last season, I think he'll be up there for it. But 2 weeks ago, it's been a while since we did a cup of tea. We played Tottenham. The night before the Tottenham game, the Sun decided to post an article written by Karen Brady. Did you read it?
No. I've not read a newspaper in a long time, actually.
About Spurs? What she wants Spurs?
Oh, she wanted Spurs to... No, so I don't know the context, but from what I see, I think the idea was she wanted Spurs to win the league because it showed that it was a model of a club building itself up rather than a PSG type thing with someone taking over. Is that basically what she said?
Yeah.
Yes, I am aware of it, but I didn't read the article.
Another own goal by Baroness.
Yeah. I mean, she may well think that. She's well within her rights to think that. But the troubling thing, and I can almost understand why she thinks that, because she wants to build up the club in that sort of a way. So she's thinking, hold on, if West Ham are going to do it and they're going to do it with me and the two Davids in charge, then we're going to do it by building up organically, which is what she sees Tottenham doing. I understand why she thinks it. So that's not the disturbing thing that she thinks it. The disturbing thing is that she said it. And the disturbing thing is that she's got her finger so far off the pulse of the West Ham fans that she would think it's acceptable to say that Tottenham win the league, would like to win the league. But you speak to my granddad's generation, and they'll tell you it's Millwall and all the rest of it. It stems from a Dockers thing. It really is, and for a lot of people it is. But we don't pay Millwall very often, and for a lot of people, I would go so far as to say, it'd be interesting to do a poll. Actually, is it Millwall or is it Tottenham? If someone wants to do that poll, I wouldn't be surprised if actually for more people that nowadays, spanning all generations, actually more of them think that Tottenham are the main rivals. So for someone so high up in a club to say they want their main rivals to win the league is silly. It's just the fingers so far off the pulse. As an isolated thing, probably wouldn't bother, but it does seem to be one thing after another, really.
It's the timing as well. Just before we play Tottenham, it's I would say it's naive, but I don't think it's naive. I think she damn well knows what she's doing. She knows fine what's happening. We're playing Spurs and stuff, and obviously it's quite topical. We're playing Spurs. It's going to get clicks, and you do think that's exactly what she's all about. She'd rather get hits to her article so she gets a big pay from the Sun rather than actually sticking with her fans and being loyal to a club. Like you said, she may well think it. There's ways of putting that article out without mentioning any football club, and that should rather a club organically grow and go on and win the league, and not someone like Man City, etc., etc. There's plenty of ways of saying it. You don't have to literally name Spurs, and that's the worst thing. It's like a slap in the face to us all. But what I would ask is, instead of purring at how Spurs are doing, why don't you get your own club in gear and actually start competing with the big boys like you've told us, rather than just admiring them from afar? Get your own house in order, rather than just everything she says sometimes really riles me up. The Apprentice starts tonight. Are you watching The Apprentice?
I always watch The Apprentice. I didn't know until I saw someone post it on the thingy on the internet. So I did it quickly on the planner and set it up. I quite like The Apprentice. What a bunch of dickheads they are on there. But I think that's why we watch them, because it is just full of it. I know it's not football, but the thing that winds me up about The Apprentice, actually any program, you think anyone that wants to go on there would have watched the program before, okay? It's like with Dragon's Den. If you've ever watched the Dragon's Den, right? If people go on there and you think, okay, you've got your business, you're starting your business up. What's going to really piss them off and what's going to stop you getting investment if you don't know your figures? Know your last 3 years' figures, okay? And know your difference between your turnover, your net, your gross, all of that stuff. And I'll tell you what, and people watch this Apprentice every year, right? You know the thing when you go out to the market stall and you just do the stuff. And it's like there's basically a bunch of dumbasses who have never watched a program in their life. It's just idiots. They are not the 10 brightest business people in the country. I'll tell you that much.
No, you're right. It is full of dickheads. But then there's also 10 contestants as well trying to work for one of the dickheads. The under 23s play at the London Stadium next. What are you laughing at?
That's so slow. I thought we were still talking about the contestants. Yeah.
The under 23s play at the London Stadium next Sunday, the day after we play Burnley. It's free to get in if you're a season ticket holder or a Claret member. I think check the Claret member, actually. I'm not so sure. Season ticket holders anyway. It's free to get in. Play Man U at the London Stadium on the Sunday. Gonzo, 10% of our club got bought by an American dude. The club have not announced this at all. The club have stayed well away from this. He's got one little mention on their website, which is probably a legal thing under the ownership, but there's no news article or nothing about the 10% being bought. Yeah,
probably don't, because they might have to tell everybody that Terence Brown still owes 5%. So they like to keep these things quiet, I'm quite sure. I don't actually think it means anything. But what I would always say, and I don't think this is a big takeover, when Abramovich took over Chelsea, you heard nothing. There was no build-up. When Mansour took over City, there was no build-up. Literally, they flew in. Mark Hughes thought he was in there. Funny enough, he was signing people like Zabaleta, Vincent Kompany. All of a sudden, they jumped in next day, and he's there looking gormless with Robinho stood next to him. It surprised everyone when these takeovers happened. So, yeah, rich people don't need, genuinely rich people don't need to publicise these things. They want to do it sneaky. I'm not reading anything too much into it apart from they sold 10% to someone.
I think it's interesting though, because this guy's filthy rich, and his background is I can't remember his name. His nickname's Trip anyway, but he used to work for, he used to be the CEO of an investment company in America called Blackstone, which is worth about 400 billion. So his career is an investment. So if he's investing in West Ham, it makes you think, why is he doing it? Is he expecting us to be worth a fortune in the not so distance, or is he thinking, I'm gonna get all this club? Is he trying to, because Blackstone take people's money, if you like, and then go and invest it? So are they trying to get together a bid in order to go and buy West Ham? I just find it really strange because that 10% is up for grabs. Why would Sullivan or Gold not try and purchase it, knowing that their plan is to sell it on in future for a decent chunk, or that maybe they're happy with their profit they're set to make, and they think, well, we'll buy it at X amount of million, we're only going to make a small amount on it in a few years. I think there's something funny going on here because this is too random, if you know what I mean.
Well, it poses an interesting question, doesn't it? It poses a really, really interesting question, which is how much did he buy the 10% for? Because if we know that figure, then we know what they value the club at.
Yeah, that's true. But well, we know what the Icelandic banks value the club at, if you like. But it's just, I don't know. I mean, 10% is a big chunk of a club.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big chunk. You're not buying a small measly 1% or something. It's a huge portion he's just bought there. And I think there's more to come off from this, but I don't know what. I think someone's going to have to look into this guy and see what exactly is he off to do his stuff. It's just, he's filthy rich though. I don't know if he's sort of in the top bracket of the world like Man City owners are, and that can just throw cash at you. But he's probably got contacts that can come in and throw cash at you if you like. And that's why I find it interesting. I mean, not only if you run a company who deals with 400 billion or worth 400 billion, you know filthy rich people. He will know filthy rich people. And if he's looked at West Ham as a project, he's thinking, well, I'm going to get 10% of this. Help maybe oversee some sort of takeover, and then while the value goes up, I'm sitting here with my 10%, and that's my dime for my time, if you like. I don't know. Do you not think it's too random though? Do you not think there must be something going on here?
No, I don't. I wish there was. You know, I'd love to think that we're about to get taken over by a bunch of stinking rich people. I really do. I am interested in that value though. So, the Icelandic banks, they were the receivers for the Icelandic bank collapse, weren't they? Really. So you'd have to think the lowest they would value West Ham at in the current market would be 200 million, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna, and the highest. At a push, I mean the very highest, 600 million, right? It's too high, but you know what I'm saying. So they've valued the club somewhere between 20 and 60 million quid, which is a lot of money to invest. That's a lot of somebody's money. To a multi-billionaire, is it? Not so, you know.
Yeah, he must be filthy rich though, because if I don't know. I think he's I'll have to look into it more, but
it's enough. It's enough for David Gold not to, because David Gold's worth about 500 million. Now, 60 million is a large chunk out of 500 million.
On paper, he's considered a billionaire, but
Goldie.
But so is David Sullivan.
Yeah, but it's a lot of Sullivan's money's tied up in property around Mayfair and whatnot, as we know. So. I don't know. So it is interesting, but it's cloak and dagger, smoke and mirrors, and we know nothing really.
Watch this space indeed. And last thing before we get on to the questions, Reece Oxford, bit of confusion there, wasn't it? He's coming back, and then all of a sudden he's not coming back.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him actually. But after the Reading loan last season, just really needs to find a club where he's going to play. It doesn't have to. And the onus looked good on this club who had brought through the Chelsea lad. But he needs a club. He needs a club, and he needs some football because Rice has overtaken him. There's absolutely no doubt about it. He wouldn't come back to West Ham now and get on the bench ahead of Declan Rice. He just wouldn't. In
all honesty, I don't see the issue here. I know he's not played, but they're 7 games in. He's playing for a decent enough Bundesliga side. Did anyone expect our 18-year-old just to waltz over to Germany and get into that first team at the drop of a hat? He's got to do his time. He's got to wait. He's got to be patient. 7 games is not waiting. That's not waiting. Do you know something? He could stay there for the whole season, play 2 games, and I'll be happy because he's going out there. He's learning a different culture. He'll pick up different training methods. The whole experience will do him the world of good. Even if he doesn't play that much football, you will learn a lot more from getting out of this country and going abroad and trying something than you will going on loan to Bolton like Josh Cullen and Reece Burke have, and they've sat on the bench for the last 2 games. And I mean, I'd much rather he was on the bench over in the Bundesliga than he was for Bolton at the bottom of the Championship. I mean, that's Is that loan deal's gone mad? I mean, I've seen some people say they're just too good for Bolton, and Bolton are just trying to pump in. That's why Cullen's not getting involved, because the ball's just going over his head.
Well, that's clearly not working, is it? Whatever they're doing at Bolton's clearly not working. So maybe they want to revise that and try getting it to Cullen's feet. And we know Burke's a decent player, really good player. I'm sure he'll have a really good professional career, actually. So, don't know, maybe just choosing the club's wrong, whoever's making the decision to send them out.
Well, them two come back in a couple of months, so it'll be interesting to see what happens to them. I mean, I imagine they're both coming back. Reece, I would like to just leave Reece Oxford out in Germany. Leave him. You can't. 7 games. It's not enough. But we bought a player and been here 7 games, and he'd been on the bench and gone, and he was kicking up a fuss. We'd be going, hold on, what are you expecting? Just wait a minute. That Said Hasbanovic, or whatever he says his name, he's not had a game in the first team yet. Well, he had in the cup, but in the league, don't see him kicking up a fuss, because 7 games is just not enough. Chill, leave him be, and hope that he's picking up some sort of good on the training ground. They must have reserve games he's playing in. I don't know. I should probably have checked, but he must be playing some sort of football, surely. But anyway, that's it. Question time. Mark says, interesting one, this one. Do you think we're carrying Karen now? Has she done her job, or is she now a liability?
I don't know. Yeah, she's done her job. I think she was brought in to oversee the move to the new stadium, but she's such an integral part of that whole setup of Golden Sullivan. I don't think it's a case of. I don't think anyone's going separately unless she gets what she wants, which is to be mayor. So when what's his name that's mayor at the moment, Khan, is when his time comes up and he's running again, it'd be very interesting to see who the Conservative candidate is. Actually, if it's her, then we might see her getting ready for that step into politics. Up until that point, I just think I think they are they're a team. They are a Gold Sullivan Brady. I think they're a team. So regardless of whether I think she's done her bit or not, I think one goes, they all go, and I think that's when it'll happen.
I think she's too important. As much as I don't like her that much, and I question a lot of stuff she does and says, I'll tell you what, I'd much rather her West Ham with her running it than her leaving and a certain person taking over the running of the club. Jesus, I would not like to witness that. Geezer can't even send an email. Right? Could you imagine that happening? But I think she's almost so important in the sense of the running of the day-to-day of the club that if Sullivan and Gold leave, I wouldn't be surprised if the new owners offer her a position and say, can you stick around for another year, please, and just let us bed in, if you like. Can you stick here and be vice chairman, I suppose, for the next year and oversee the changes and stuff? I don't think she's a liability, but she's certainly a frustration, if you want to call it that. She's too cold-hearted for the football fan culture, I think. That's how I would word it. It's just too business-like sometimes. Gary says, do you think we'll go down with Slav?
No, I don't, Gary. I think our players are too good. I think Mike said it best, and I think Mike said we won not because we were a better team, we had the better system. We won because we had the better players in the end, and the better players win through. You know, I don't know, did we have one better striker than Swansea had? Actually, I think we probably had 3 better strikers than anything Swansea had to offer. Although Abrahams did impress me a little bit. I think we've got enough to stay up, but I don't think it's going to be pretty, and I don't think it's going to be convincing, and we're not going to be. It's not going to be a joyous season.
No, I'm kind of the same. One thing you have to give Slav credit for, and that is he knows how to get a win when he needs it, even if it is against the lesser sides. How many times have we watched West Ham get beat by the lesser sides, and we think, oh, bloody hell, why is it always us? You know, people still say it. And I still think, well, what evidence and ability have you got that we are still that side? I think Bilic has sort of steadied the ship so much that when a team out of form does turn up, we will beat them. Granted, it'll probably be 1-0, it won't be very pretty, but we will stifle them, we will beat them, we'll get the job done. And he's got us that solid, but like you said, it won't be pretty. It's going to be like what we saw against Swansea and Huddersfield. No entertainment, but 3 points in the bag. A couple of quick managers are being brought up. I sort of half ignore these because they're not really linked with us. Chris says, what about Ronald Koeman? If he gets sacked at Everton, would you have him at West Ham?
Yeah, he's an absolute quality manager. I don't know what's gone on there. Something's gone on. Don't know what it is. He's a very, very good manager. Is he attacking enough? I don't know. I think we need to find out what went on, but he is a good manager. He's a good manager. I don't think he's turned crap overnight. That's for sure.
No, I would take him in a heartbeat. I still, as you know, I've always said I think he's one of the best managers in the league. I stand by that. I think he's got too many players at Everton, two big personalities. He's got to sort of play them. You know, for example, Sigurdsson and Rooney, they play in the same position. So why have they bought both of them? And he's trying to fit them both into the starting 11. I mean, he can't really leave out a £40 million signing. You can't really leave out Wayne Rooney, can you? So he's trying to fit them in, and it's just not working. But I would have him here in an absolute heartbeat. Dennis says, what about Celtics manager Brendan Rodgers?
Do you know what? Funny enough, I was just about to say no chance, but he does have a philosophy. Okay, I'll give Rodgers that. He has got a philosophy. He's got a set style and a set way of playing. I've got to say, I think he'd have a hard time at West Ham. And because of that, unless he was given a lot of money to bring all those types of players he wants, he would really, really struggle. I think if Rodgers came in, he'd look and think, right, Lanzini, we'll put Lanzini in there, and then he'd look around and he'd struggle to find anyone else in that team. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but you know what I'm saying? He would not find a load of players who could play the style of football that he wants, the intricate 1-2s and all the rest of it. So for that reason, and for the reason I think he'd probably get given 40 million if he came in, not enough to overhaul the club. We've seen it. We've seen Andy Carroll. We've seen what Brendan Rodgers thinks of Andy Carroll. We've seen that. He basically said, you have no future with me. So he can't play that way. I just don't think he'd fit in with West Ham with the squad we got at the moment.
That's probably why I would take him. I do. I wouldn't mind him. Someone coming in and putting his foot down and saying, you know what, you don't fit my thing, you don't fit my thing, you don't fit my thing. David Sullivan, get them three out of my club, get whatever you can. I want this guy, I want this guy, and I want this guy, and I want that guy, please, because they fit what I'm trying to do. I think that's almost what we need. That's what we mentioned earlier.
But that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't get the players. That's my point. That wouldn't happen. He wouldn't get those. And he would need 6 or 7. They wouldn't come in. It just wouldn't happen.
I don't know. I would take him. I would take Brendan Rodgers. I think he's doing a better job with Celtic than given credit for. A lot of people go, oh, it's Scottish. Yeah, it is, but he's still cutting it in Europe, isn't he? He just beat Anderlecht 3-0. I think they thumped them 3-0 away from home. He's good. He's a good manager. He knows what he's doing. I think he's Liverpool. I think he's had too much criticism. I just don't think he was very well liked for some reason. But if you take how many games Klopp's had in the Premier League as Liverpool manager and take Rodgers, same. Rodgers has got more points, but yet Klopp seems to be the messiah. But Rodgers had them a few games from winning the title. Granted, he had Luis Suarez. I'm aware of that, but that's not his fault, is it? If anything, he can get credit for turning Suarez into a world-class striker. He deserves the credit for that. He deserves the praise for knowing how to get the best out of your world-class player. That's what we need, probably. Someone that knows how to get the best out of Hernandez and Lanzini. Yeah, I'd take him here as well, in a heartbeat as well. So I'm a very fussy. I think I've said yes to about 5 managers. And, fine, we'll end up with flipping
Steve Bruce.
Neil Warnock. Don't say that. KJ Sessions says, who are you blaming for our poor start to the season? The manager, the players, or the both?
I think they've got to take equal blame in many respects. I think the manager's philosophy, deployment of players, selection, particularly selection, first 11 selections, are troubling. But I also think what we discussed earlier on was true, KJ. I think that the players know he's going, and I don't think that there is always 100% commitment on that pitch.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think some of the players need to step up a little bit in some games. Some of the players sloppy. I remember after the Newcastle game, after the game, everyone was talking about it, and someone said, I don't believe that Slav tells them to pass back to Joe Hart all the time and stuff. There is a little bit of that, but at the same time, it's up to him to change it. If they are passing back, it's up to him to say, stop passing it back and change it so that they can pass it forward. Paul, where do you think we'll finish in the league?
14th.
As low as that?
Yeah.
Or as high as that, should have said.
Yes. Oh, a lofty 14th. Yeah, yeah. And I'd take it at the moment, I've got to say. I am not giving up on winning the cup. I'm going down to Wembley. Well, for 4,800. So be me and a couple of other blokes going to Wembley. But I still fancy us to do Tottenham, actually. I still fancy running the cup because we're West Ham.
Well, Pochettino said he doesn't care about that cup. You know, he said it before the last round. They scraped through 1-0 against a lower league side, but he's said it's not a priority. He's got the league and he's got the Champions League. He does not need that League Cup. So I think they're going to put out a weekend team. I think we'll put out our first team, to be honest with you.
Well, he wants to put out his first team in that, whatever that may be.
I'll say 11. I mean, we're only 7 games in, a couple of wins, and all of a sudden we're 8th again. And we've got 3 winnable-ish fixtures coming up. So before you know it, we could do our next cup of tea, having put Tottenham out of the cup, got 6 points out of 9, and we're sitting 9th in the league or something. All of a sudden, everything's a little bit rosy heading into the next game. I'll say 11. We got there last year, and that was without a striker. So we've got the same squad this year with a striker. So I'd be disappointed if we didn't.
We get 47 points. I might have a sneaky 5 on 47 points for some reason.
Yeah. Billy's asking. The thing is, this ticket scenario is same as last season. I'm kind of to blame for this a little bit, I think, because earlier Callum Bailey put up a picture of a burger, right? It's from The Apprentice. It was a burger with a bit of cheese, and it just says, "Does this look like a luxury burger to you?" And I put up a picture of the ticket prices for category A games. And I replied to Karen and say, "Does this look like affordable football to you?" So I don't know if Billy's maybe seen that, because he's saying £50 for a kids band 5 ticket against Liverpool, which is our 3rd or 4th home game from today.
I saw a picture. Someone posted a picture, one right at the back. I think right at the back of the stadium with a £50 for a kids ticket. Yeah, I think I've seen the pictures today. I'm pretty sure it was that. Sorry, yeah. What was the question? Just
what's your thoughts on it?
I don't know. It's hard for me because I will be a hypocrite because I've got the £99 season ticket for my son. So
yeah, we'll see if that changes. We'll see if that changes in the summer.
We will, and you'll know about it. If I can't have the season ticket because it becomes unaffordable, you'll know it. But there is affordable football there. That much is clear. Category A game against Liverpool, yeah. I mean, but let's be fair. I remember playing top dollar at the Boleyn for games, for Category A games as well. They will do you. Any club will have you over a barrel for those Category A games.
But not every club labels it up as affordable football, do they? I think the point is that she labelled it up as part of the move is to provide affordable football, and for a dad to take his son to see play Liverpool, you're looking at 140 quid for the two of them.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's football. I mean, unfortunately, that is football. Costs an absolute fortune to go to football these days. I'm having to cut down my games this season. Just can't afford it, as you know, as we discussed last week. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it's not just that. It's the train journey. It's crikey, it's 23 quid for the ticket, the train ticket. Obviously, I know it's much more for you, but for me, 23 quid there and back. That's just me. Take the kid as well. All of a sudden, you're sort of 40 quid, nearly 40 quid in tickets. But, it's not just a burger in the ground or whatever. It's something to eat on the way there. It's mental. Football is not affordable.
Yeah. Christ, I'd like a £23 train ticket return, please. Thank you very much. Nice. But that's all I've got time for. There's a few people throwing in questions, but we're at the hour mark. We try to keep it to an hour so we don't blather on too much, and hopefully you make it to the end. Congratulations if you have, and well done. Give yourself a pat on the back. And if you're new around here, make sure you subscribe. And if you enjoyed it, hit the like button. Gonzo, is there anything else you'd like to add before we bugger off for a little bit?
Oh, yeah, before we slip into the oblivion of international football and watch England struggling to score against somebody or other. Who is the somebody or other?
I don't know. I'm not England.
Of course you're not. Sorry. You had me fooled with that accent there. Who was Scotland playing then? Estonia?
We've got, I think one of us has got Slovakia and one of us has got Slovenia.
It's hard to... Sorry, Slav. It's always hard to... It's hard to tell them apart, isn't it? Anyway, here we go. On that racist bombshell, we should probably end.
Yeah, but anyway, you guys at home, let us know what you think. Earlier, I asked Gonzo, what 3 players are impressing you? What 3 players are causing you concern? You can drop in below what you think, what players you would pick out. Also, the next manager. It's looking obvious Bilic is going at the end of the season, but who would you be eyeing up to bring in? We spoke about Dyche, Ancelotti, Pellegrini, and Coleman. We've still got Mancini, Rafa Benitez at the top of the market, and then on a couple of people on the live stream mentioned Brendan Rodgers and Ronald Koeman. Is there any of them that tickle your fancy, or is there another one we should be considering as well? As someone in the live chat has mentioned Laurent Blanc as well as some that we should possibly consider. Let us know below. Come on to our forum at hammerschat.com. Get involved. There's a good thread on there just now discussing Bilic.
There's a row on the forum, basically. There's a massive row happening on the forum.
Someone is asking, what exactly are you expecting from West Ham, considering that Bilic has delivered this, that, and the other, and we're not doing too bad in his opinion. So come get involved on it. But anyway, it's international break, so we've got no game this week, but we're hoping to have a one-off video coming up in the next 2 weeks. We'll have a preview for the Burnley next week, as always, and hopefully a Q&A with the Burnley fan. But anyway, that's it from us. Subscribe, like, and we'll catch you in a bit.